Welcome to the Perfect Blend podcast.
My name is Sarah.
And my name is Shenelle. We'll be serving you the perfect blend of beauty, skincare, overall wellness ideas, and discussion. We'll just sit back, relax, and talk shit about life, just like girlfriends should. Now let's get back to it.
I love the sweater.
Thank you. I was like, I have to represent. I have like everything there with me.
Oh my God, so cute. I love
it. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like we haven't talked in so long. It's so nice.
Forever. I know. It's been such a long time.
I know.
Guys. That's Shenelle.
Hi, Shenelle. I'm Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Yes. I'm so excited. I literally did my makeup specifically for you, Em. I said, I'm going to be a glow goddess today. Typically, I don't do this, but I was like, just for you, honey.
I love it. I love the energy.
I love it. So thank you so much for coming. We are so appreciative of you.
Of course.
Yes, we're so glad to have you on the show today.
Of course. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so pumped.
I'm like hiding in a room right now because I'm like I'm moving right now.
Yeah.
So I moved back home for a little bit. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, saving money.
Yeah. Well, I'm only home for like a couple days. I move on Saturday, back out, moving in with my boyfriend. So we got a new place. So I'm like, my life's in shambles. My life's in boxes. Like, nice. I'm hiding in my room right now. It's so funny.
Aw, you know what? I understand completely. And we really are so grateful for you to be on here because I know that you have a really busy schedule.
Oh my God, of course. I'm happy to.
Yay. I think that's better. I think I figured it out. Okay. Mm-hmm. Amazing, you guys. So welcome to the podcast. So just to give you a little bit of in-depth or I guess insight as to who me and Shenelle are. Me and Shenelle, we started this podcast in April, I guess. We had the idea of doing it. And then it only came into fruition in December. But since then, we've sort of really made an effort to be regular with our posting, just have, really influential people that we think would be, provide a lot of value and information to our audience, specifically revolving around like beauty and health and wellness. So literally when I thought of that, I thought of you because of your beautiful brand called New Beauty. So I'm so stoked. And I just want to like give a shout out because like I have it right here and it's bomb. It's so bomb.
Thank you.
I'm so happy. So just to like get the ball rolling, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Em? Like I know you from like high school and we've known each other for quite a while now, but just for anyone that doesn't really know you, like just maybe give like a little bit of background as to like where you grew up, what's your background, where did you go to school? Just like a brief introduction.
Yeah. So my name is obviously Emily. I am the founder now of New Beauty, and I'm also a content creator and influencer. And it's crazy to say those things out loud because at one point in my life, I was like, I can't wait for the day where I can introduce myself as the founder of a brand and as an influencer because they were always my side hustles.
Yes.
Right. I worked corporate my entire life. So to be able to say that now, I look back like a year ago and I was like, I just want to be able to say that. And now I'm finally here, which is so great. I went to school at Ryerson at the Ted Rogers School of Management. I graduated with a BCom in marketing and I minored in fashion and retail management. So I have a strong commerce fashion background. After school, I was an event planner for a financial firm, which is like totally off from what I wanted to do, but it's just kind of like I walked right into it. Mm-hmm. I gained so many skills in organization and prioritizing because it was event planning, right? It was all about keeping people on schedule and on track. So I'm appreciative for that. I was there for about 3 years and then I moved over to the Hudson's Bay where I was on the e-commerce team on the back end. So I learned a lot about websites, working with different brands, different suppliers, how we onboard the products. So I was there for about a year, and then I transitioned to the marketing team at the Hudson's Bay, where I was a marketing specialist, and I oversaw the entire women's apparel category.
Wow.
And all the departments. Yeah, so I was there for a
Very
bit,
nice.
and then I got promoted to marketing manager just last year, and I was overseeing all types of marketing for shoes, for jewelry, for anything that's basically not clothing.
Okay.
So I did that for a little bit while birthing New Beauty with a friend at the time. So we birthed it together. We co-founded it, and then we went our separate ways around September. I took full ownership, and then I just quit my full-time job to take this full-time.
Wow.
That is so exciting.
Yes.
That's like a little snapshot of like where I went to school, my background, and how I got here, essentially.
I love
Right.
it.
Yes.
I love that.
That's so exciting because, you know, you hear you hear a lot of people saying like, you know, this is my side hustle, you know, and it's like, I feel like a lot of people have the idea of a side hustle and they don't really, you know, have the thought process or the motivation to make it their full-time gig. So I think a lot of time we have I think with you, you know, hearing that you were able to quit your full-time job and do full-time is awesome.
Yeah, it's honestly so great. And one of my number one questions that I get is when people ask me, you know, when is the right time to quit your full-time gig to take your part-time hustle full-time? And I always say there is no right time. Like, you'll never know. If you wait for it, you're going to be waiting forever. You have to either take the jump when you feel ready, or you're just never going to do it.
I feel that's so hard. Like, you have no idea. Like, I resonate with that so profoundly, because last year, when COVID happened, unfortunately for me, like, I was laid off from my job that I had at the time, which was in real estate. But to be quite honest with you, like, I feel like it was sort of a blessing in disguise, because it sort of put things into perspective for me. And it was like, Sara, what do you really want to do in your life? Like, what really like makes you want to wake up in the morning? What are you really passionate about? And when I asked myself those questions, girl, I was like, I have to pursue my dreams full force. And like, yeah, I don't have like all of the answers to like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make it through tomorrow or next week or whatever the case, right? Like, we're never going to always have the answers, but I feel like you just have to take the risk and just go for it. So I really, really resonate with that. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, like what you said, when you said that you had to stop and think, like, is this serving me? Is this what I'm passionate about? That happened to me. Like, I was, you know, working full time in a corporate job, and I've always wanted to be a CEO. Even in high school, I already knew. I was like, I'm going to be a CEO. I'm going to be that woman who's like climbing the corporate ladder. Like, I'm going to get there.
Yes.
And then when I got the promotion, which is what I thought I really, really wanted, like, I was trying so hard for it. And when I got it, I was like, is this actually what I'm passionate about? Is this actually what I want to do? And it made me stop and think, like, the same thing like you.
Yeah, totally. I want to ask, and just because I'm curious, because I feel like your career background, like especially with what you were telling us about your time at HBC, I feel like there is so much knowledge and information and just wisdom that you could have taken, or probably that you have taken, to bring into your business. Like, my question is like, what's something that you learned, say, for instance, in your career at HBC or your university career, because you went into business? Was there anything specifically that you took away from that you implement regularly into your business?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because everything that I've done up until this point has shaped me to make really great choices for New Beauty. And I always say, like, when I worked for HBC, we weren't at our peak, right? Like, department stores just aren't thriving in this environment anymore. And the marketing department is an expense for a company. Like, we're not bringing in dollars, we're spending dollars. So the first things to get cut is a marketing budget. So when you're working for a company that doesn't necessarily have the means to do the best, like we're not a Revolve, right? We're not these big brands, we're HBC. And we had a very limited budget. So I was able to learn the fundamentals of budgeting and using your money wisely. Like you have a small set budget, what are you going to use it for? Are we putting it into influencers? Are we putting it into print? Are we putting it into traditional media? So I really learned the fundamentals of how to kind of bring a brand up from the dumps and like be really, really relevant in a time where maybe we're not the topic of conversation.
Right.
Which is something I'm thankful for. Yeah.
Right.
That's such an interesting answer.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not like we worked for a brand where we were at the top, right? So I almost learned more being in this role at this time.
Right. Because it's like you're working with a hard market, trying to get, it's like everybody knows HBC, but it's like, that's not top of mind when I want to like buy clothes or, it's like, oh, you're in the mall and you see it, you're like, oh, let me take a look in there, So I could see how that actually really lent to you, being able to market yourself as well as like start your own brand.
Totally.
I'm just curious, like, you said that you wanted to be a CEO like your whole life. So did you always know that New Beauty was going to come into fruition, or was it just like you became passionate about skincare and so then you put two and two together? Like, how did it come about? How did it start?
Yeah, it's such a good question because it was actually in high school.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was. I have two experiences in high school where like I knew what I wanted to do. So the first one was in grade 9. We had take your kid to work day. Okay. So all my friends, nobody was doing it. Everyone was like, "Oh, I get to stay home, just chill out." My dad, he's always been in the consumer packaged goods space. So he worked for Kraft, Nabisco, Mr. Christie's, if you guys remember what that used to be. But so my dad was yes, exactly. So my dad's been working there for, oh my gosh, so long, since I was a child. So when it came to take your kid to work day, he was like, all right, like you're coming with me. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Please don't make me go. Anyways, I went and he literally gave me an agenda. And like every hour I was meeting with a different department. It was like accounting, finance, marketing, HR, like literally like every single department you can think of. So I got a taste for it and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like I saw the marketing department. I saw the thought process behind a commercial, the thought process behind the recipe on the side of a Ritz cracker box. I saw those things and I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. So that's when I kind of piqued my interest that I want to be a CEO. And then we had a business class in high school. I don't know if you remember him, Sarah, but Mr. Denese. I
do. Yeah, I do.
You remember him? Okay.
Yeah.
I took his class and he pulled me aside and he was like, one day you're going to be a great businesswoman, but your moral compass is going to hurt you because you're too like nice. Like you need to be more cutthroat. And then that was also a very pivotal moment in my career because, and I'll always remember that. And I was like, I wish I got contact with him so I can tell him that when he was saying that to like a grade, I think it was a grade 10, that like it really stuck with me. So to answer your question, I always knew that I wanted my own business and I always knew I wanted to run something, but I didn't know it was going to be a beauty company. And throughout university and throughout my corporate life, I was looking for the answer and I knew it would come to me. But I went through a period where I had really, really bad adult acne, and that's what piqued my interest.
See, I never saw that phase of yours, to be quite honest with you. I always saw you with the beautiful skin. So I was like, I wonder why she chose
your skin is amazing right now too. So I'm like, girl, whatever you did, you cleared it up.
Thank you. Yeah. And then like when I went through that, like I've never had skin. And then when I was in my early 20s, it really hit me hard. And I saw firsthand how much your appearance really affects your confidence and your self-esteem.
Yeah.
And it messed up my, like, even my mind space. Like my mental health was down, and I really saw how important it was. And that's when I kind of came up with New Beauty.
I love that. That's so, I mean, it's so cool to just have some insight as to what your, like, how your thought process was and like where the thought originated from, right? Like, it's the same. I guess, like, for me, like, I didn't really know until I knew. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that I wanted to do what I wanted to do until I was like, oh no, like, I can't see myself doing anything other than this. And I feel like you had that same moment.
Totally. Exactly.
Right.
I
I'm
love
still trying to figure things out. You know, I think I'm on a good path right now, but I mean, you know, the fact that you were able to figure that out at such a young age, like, kudos to you, because honestly, when I was in grade 9, I had no idea what I wanted to be. And what I thought I wanted to do, I'm currently not even anywhere near that. So kudos
It's
to you.
honestly fine, because your experiences right now are shaping you to where you need to be. And I'm such a spiritual person. So, like, I truly believe that, like, where you are right now is where you're meant to be. And if you don't have it figured out, that's fine, because you're not supposed to have it figured out at this age.
Right.
But regardless of what age you are, you will figure it out at some point. And it's crazy to think, but my boyfriend's mom, she only figured it out at 40 years old. So she was like struggling her whole life, and then she hit 40, and now she's extremely successful. At 40.
At 40.
At 40.
I'm feeling like that's going to be my trajectory, just because I'm like, you know, there's so many things I want to do, but at the same time, it's like, how do I like hone in on like what I need to focus on? And with, you know, learning that about myself, I've really been getting more into manifestation. And Sarah was telling me, you know, you were really into a manifestation and mindset, and you know, she was telling me, you know, she really admires your self-discovery journey. And so we would like to know, you know, how have you manifested this, or your business, and you know, your success so thus far, and how you went about that, and you know, if there's any mantras that you really like, that you chant to yourself every now and then, like any tips and tricks, especially for someone like me who's trying to get into all of this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love talking about manifestations and the law of attraction, because, like, it's once you tap into it truly, like, once you're aware, you're so much more powerful. And I can tell you right now, the two of you are probably manifesting without intentionally doing so, because that's how powerful your mind is. And a lot of people think this is like woo woo, and you know, it's so far-fetched, but honestly, the main thing with manifestations, and it's the advice that I give any beginner, is you have to have the fundamental level of self-love. Like, you can do all the techniques you want in the world. You can follow, you know, rituals and mantras and affirmations, but if you don't have the basis of self-love, it's not going to work for you, unfortunately, because that's not how it works, right? You have to be happy in your current state and happy where you are, and excited on where you want to be. And then those things in the future will find its way to you. So for my business, to answer your question, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like, that was like, okay, check, I want to be it. But I didn't know how I wanted to get there. I didn't know what brand I wanted to start. I didn't know what industry I wanted to start with. But I was like fully okay with that. I was fully okay with being like, okay, I made the intention and I put it out there that, like, I want to do this. So universe, whatever it is, bring the idea to me in whatever way you want to bring it to me, and then I'll know what direction I need to go in. So, and that's kind of what happened to me, because at the time, you know, I didn't know if I even wanted to work for HBC, but I took it anyways. And I ended up meeting my past business partner there, and we started the business together. So that's how I met, and that's how we kind of came about it. So I was just kind of like riding the wave, knowing I would end up somewhere, but letting it happen to me. And to answer your question about like techniques, I'm a huge person on affirmations. Like, I love affirmations. I like saying them out loud because when I speak it into existence, I feel like I embody it more.
Yeah.
But some people like to write it down. It's whatever works for you. If you're a writer, if you're a speaker, it's what serves you. And to me, that's saying it out loud. And like even today, I still walk around saying like, I am an entrepreneur. I have a successful business. I attract money. I don't chase. I attract. I always say those. I don't chase. I attract.
Right.
So yeah, just like knowing in your heart and in your soul that you know you're gonna get somewhere, even if you don't know where it's gonna be, but you know you're gonna be successful, and just allowing it to come to you. That's like the art of manifestation.
Awesome. Like that's such great advice. I was watching an IGTV on Sunday with a friend of mine. She was in it, and as well as she kind of had like a branding coach, so to say. So basically she helps people like with their businesses and their brands, and she helps them kind of like help them get to where they're trying to go. And she was saying, you know, like it starts with you. Like you have to manifest, you have to have a, not even a plan, but you have to know what it is that you want in order to attract it to yourself, right? So, you know, the advice that you're giving right now is really speaking to me, because it's like, you know, I'm hearing a lot of the same information. I feel like, you know, the universe is speaking it to me, like, you know, Shenelle, you know what you need to do, you know, like now start manifesting it, you know? So, you know, I feel like this is all coming full circle.
I love it.
Thank you. I love it.
Of course. There's also Sarah and I went to high school with her name's Sarah Capone. Shout out Sarah if you're
Shout
listening
out
to
to
this.
Sarah.
Shout out. She's a manifestation coach, and I love her stuff. If
I
you're looking
love
for
her.
like, yeah, if you're looking for little tips, little ways to like introduce manifestations into your life, but you just like don't know where to start, she's a great resource.
Sarah Capone, right? I think Sarah,
Yeah.
I think you told me about her.
Yeah, my life coach. I like call her my life coach, and I always shout her out, and I always think about her because I'm literally like, there was a point in my life, and I'll just be like tell you guys a little story, like just with regards to manifestation, just because I feel like exactly what Emily was saying in terms of like, you have to love yourself first and really understand what you need as a person in order to seek this out. And what I mean by that is like at a certain point in my life, so January of 2020, I literally looked internally and I was like, I need direction. I feel like right now I feel very lost, and I feel like I'm not really happy with where I am, but I know that I can be happy.
Right.
So what I did is I specifically, like, it just so happened, it's crazy how the universe works. I tell you guys, like, I thought about it, and then next thing you know, Sarah was like on her Instagram story, she was like, I'm taking on new clients, like anyone that's interested. And I was like, oh my goodness.
You're like, sign me up like
Oh my
so
God.
quickly.
I was literally like, this is a sign. I swear this is a sign that I need to speak with her. And it just so happens that throughout these months, like from January all the way until like maybe July, me and her would literally meet regularly every single week. And she really knew how to break it down of how I can achieve my goals, but making sure that like it was micro commitments. And that's another like really, really big takeaway from like, I guess this podcast, I would say, like this episode specifically. Micro commitments will bring you to that big goal that you have. I feel like that's so important to remember, because she helped me actually formulate it and break it down into a way that I could fully understand it, to understand and really know what exactly I wanted. So I feel like if anyone needs a manifestation coach, a life coach, like just someone that could really give you insight as to how to produce results, she's your girl. I swear.
Yeah, she is. She also holds you accountable too. Like I don't work directly with her, but I've had a couple sessions where we've chatted, and she, because a lot of people think the law of attraction and manifestations is a little woo-woo, she brings it back to you like intellectually. So she breaks it down so easy that you can't think that it's like so far-fetched or so out of reach, which is so great, because once you see, like you said, the micro steps to it, you're going to lead to a bigger result.
Totally.
Right.
Absolutely. I feel like I really want to know, like, because I'm not sure, if you like, I'm pretty sure that you didn't know like that Sarah, or rather you weren't aware of manifestation because of Sarah Capone. I'm wondering how manifestation came into your life. Like how were you made aware of it?
Yeah, of course. Everyone has that awakening period.
Mhm.
For me, my current boyfriend at the time and I, we broke up. We broke up, and it was a really bad breakup. It was like my first like really, really deep relationship.
Mhm.
This was like maybe in 2019, I would say, early 2019.
Mhm.
And I was like looking for something to like bring me back to myself. I felt like I lost myself. I was so upset. And then I came across like videos that were like, you know, how to get over a breakup, how to get over this guy, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I clicked it on YouTube, and it was all about self-love. It had nothing to do with the other person. It was just talking about like, you know, you are in control of your own life. You are strong. You are powerful. You are confident. And then I started tapping into it. I started watching more videos, and it was like the law of attraction, like what you think you are, like attracts like, negativity attracts negativity.
Right.
And I started getting into it. And because I really had nothing to lose at the time, that was really at my lowest point.
Mhm.
I just started doing it. I started meditating. I started saying affirmations every single day. I started doing guided meditations. I started journaling, and I started doing these things because when I was doing them, it made me feel really, really good. And if something makes you feel really, really good doing it, do more of those things because you're on the right track. It's like the universe telling you you're meant to go this way.
Right.
So I kept doing them. And every day I would feel better, and every day I would feel better. And 3 months came by, and he walked right back into my life. I was just at such a high point in my life that like it just worked out the way I wanted it to work out. And then I saw the power of like, how did we go from like breaking up, never speaking to again, to being in such a healthy relationship?
Right.
And that's when I was like, I'm on to something here. And
Yeah.
I just kept doing it every day in all aspects of my life. You know, if I wanted to work on something within myself, instead of saying like, oh, I'm not a confident speaker, I would say like, I am such a confident speaker. Or saying something that's like, you know, oh, I can't attract money. I would say like, I'm a money magnet, and like just reversing those things into your life. So when you start to say them, maybe at first you don't believe yourself, but the more you say it, the more you believe it.
Yes.
And then that's how I got into it. Cause then I realized, I'm like, wow, like once you're aware of like how much you can actually attract into your life and how strong your mentality and your mindset is, then you can use it to your advantage. So like when I would get a negative thought, I'd be like, no. Like stop that thought. That thought is done. Like no longer in my existence. Think of something better.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's how it started.
I love that. I love that. I
like
Mhm.
in one of our previous episodes with Tanika, she was saying, you know, that's how she kind of got into manifestation, and also kind of like her journey with her brand as well. You know, she had a breakup and she was like, you know what, I need to do some inner soul searching, you know. And I feel like a lot of times things that really test you, especially emotionally, they kind of drive you to do some soul searching and trying to figure out ways to like make yourself feel better and like remember who you are, you know? So I always hear that and I'm like, you know, maybe I need to have a breakup, you know? Like maybe that's what's gonna make me, you know, like fall into this, or like really like focus and get to the meat and potatoes of what I need to be doing, especially with the manifestation and everything like that. But you know, obviously that's not how I'm going about it. Like I don't need a breakup to do these things,
Yeah,
but
it's not so much the breakup. It's like being forced into a situation you don't want to be in.
right,
And like
Right.
I did
exactly.
not want to be in that situation. I would literally do this all over again to like not ever have to feel this heartbreak again.
Right.
And it could be within a financial situation, right? Like maybe you're just not where you want to be financially and you're like, oh, like I would do anything not to be in this situation again. And then that's the power that motivates you to find something to hold on to get yourself out of it. Because like the only person that's getting you out is you. So you got to lean on yourself. That is so
true. That's a word that should be like, that's gonna be the tagline for this for this episode.
That is so true. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
I wanted to just touch base in terms of like, because you said that when you have negative feelings, like you stop them right when they start and you're like, no, like refocus, we need to like be on the right track, right? But of course, like we are all human and we all experience, you know, negativity or, you know, low vibrations, just like not feeling right sometimes, right? My question is for you, what do you do to take yourself out of that low vibration energy? Because I know it happens, and I'm just curious as to if you have like any specific, you know, I guess things that you turn to in order to take you out of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, such a good question, because I get this question a lot because it does happen. Like we're human, we're going to get negative thoughts, but the one thing that you have to do is like be aware of it. That's like step one. Step one is catch yourself. And then like once you catch yourself, I remember the first time I caught myself when it was coming to me, like the negativity, and I caught myself and I was like, wow, like I was aware, like I figured it out. So once the first step is like being aware. When it's coming, it's like, nope, it's a negative thought. This is fear. This is not my reality. Let's stop this now. What I do is I say cancel 3 times. I literally do. I'm like, cancel. I did not mean that thought. That is not something I want in my space, in my reality. So please do not bring that to me. And I always say that. I always catch myself. And then I change it. So if I say like, let's say I get into an argument with my sister and I'm like, oh, she's so stubborn. I'm like, whoa, cancel. No, she's actually very open-minded. She's actually very easygoing. And I switch it because I'm switching it in my mind. So then that's the experience that I'm going to have with my sister next time, where she's not stubborn. She's actually open-minded. You know, just for an example, but that's what I do. I say cancel, and I switch the narrative.
That's is so interesting. So you say it out loud. You say it out loud, cancel.
I say it. I'm a very, like even when I was in university, when I would study, I would talk out loud because it would help me. So that's what I do. But, you know, scripting is also really, really good. Saving your head is also really good. It depends what kind of person you are. For me, I like to speak it out loud.
That's so interesting. And I honestly, I feel like a lot of people can take away from that just because, you know, like with COVID and everything, it's really easy to fall into those negative energies and those negative vibrations, like even unconsciously, like you don't want to be there. Obviously, no one wants to be there. But with COVID and everything and just like the situation that we're going through right now, it's really hard to always remain positive or always remain happy and in like high vibrations. It's really hard. So I feel like if anyone's going to take away anything in this podcast, that for sure will be one in terms of cancel. We do not want that.
We don't want that. And honestly, like what I said before about doing things that feel good, truly, that's like step two. Step two is like, okay, what makes me feel good? Is it going for a walk? I love to go for a walk in nature because I feel grounded. It's just something about being outside, fresh air. Or is it like picking up the phone and speaking to a family member or talking to a friend? Like do it. Do what you need to get yourself out of that mindset to make yourself feel good.
Yes. Great. I completely agree with you. I feel like in terms of your yourself and your business, like I want to switch the gears just a little bit because like I feel like your business, when I look at it, I'm like, this is like professional. Like this is like you've thought of this. It's like someone you have a whole well thought out team, you know, like that's how I feel. That's how it comes across. And I'm sure that's what you've intended. And I'm like so proud of you, beyond proud. You have no idea. But My question for you is like, I know that you're like any brand, right? Even me, like as a makeup artist, like my brand has gone through transformations upon transformations, and you think you have an idea of what you want it to look like, and then you're like, wait, girl, no, I think this will be better. And just like you go through those transitions, I guess. My question is, throughout this past year, I feel like new beauty has like skyrocketed, in my opinion. Like things have just changed, girl. And I'm sure that you feel that too. What is it exactly that you can, I guess, say that was the catalyst to bring you to where you are now? Like, what was it? Was it a certain thing? Was it one thing? Was it a couple things? Like, I'm so curious.
Yeah. Okay. So I have two answers for you, because I have like something that is actually something we can quantify, and I have something that's like a spiritual sense. So on the spiritual side, there's a saying that like when you open yourself up to opportunity and you create space, you're going to get more opportunities. So I felt that when I went through my split with my business partner and I quit my full-time job, I opened up so much space that I allowed so many opportunities to come to me spiritually. And honestly, like, because since October, which is when I quit my job, New Beauty has like tripled.
Yes.
Right. So like, that's truly what I feel like what happened, because I am so spiritual. In the quantifiable sense, when COVID happened, it really made people stop and consider what they were applying on their face, what they were eating, what they were doing daily to take care of themselves. And self-care really had a moment. And my brand is all about self-care. Like, it's not just skincare. Like, yes, we provide skincare products as tools to help you feel confident and to create a sense of self-love. But we also do so much more than that. Like, if I want to be able to do a healthy recipe, or I want to be able to share a workout routine, something that makes you feel super confident in your skin, so you're taking what you need. And we were communicating that before COVID. So then during COVID, we really took off because of that. So those are the two things that really stick out to me, as well as my personal audience. Like, I've been building my community.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I was taking and I was like, oh, it's so
like,
good. It's right. It's like perfectly curated, like it's aesthetically pleasing. Everything that you post looks like it's like editorial. I love it.
Thank you. Completely. I've come a long way, honestly. But yeah, I have come a long way. So I've been working on this for so long. So my audience really, really trusts me. So when I post something, they're like, okay, she's not bullshitting. Like, this is like the real deal. So that's also a huge factor into how New Beauty has grown, for sure.
Can I just like maybe I want to simplify it a little bit, if you would let me. I feel like what you've just said to us, I feel like what I can take away from that is trust first and foremost. Once your audience trusts you, it's like another world, because anything that you contribute to them, they're going to be like, girl, it's all good. Like, I know Emma's going to hit it out of the ballpark. You know what I mean? Like, there's such a level of trust there. And secondly, I think it's providing value, because when I see like New Beauty, or when I see Emily, your stories, for instance, I immediately take something away from that. And I'm like, girl, I had no idea that this thing happened, or I had no idea that you can do this. And I feel like it's so, I feel like, in social media, it's so, sometimes it can get so superficial, and it could be all about appearances, right? And that's just the truth.
That's just the tea. That's just what it is.
But the differentiating factor of being successful on social media versus just being on social media is providing value.
Exactly.
You agree with that?
Totally. Yeah, it is. It's about providing value for your audience. And I always tell people, like, smaller influencers that want to grow, they're like, what is it? And I'm like, take your time to grow, because if you have 5,000 followers that are super engaged and really like your stuff, you're way more valuable than someone that has 100,000 followers and like,
Right.
you know, there's no return on investment there. So like take your time to build your audience, create trust, be authentic, and like you'll grow, and you'll grow with an audience that's super engaged, and brands do look for that. It's valuable to them. So value is huge.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Completely. I
Mhm.
want to just jump into maybe like more about like beauty and skincare, and just what are your go-to items right now? Like whether that's in makeup or skincare, like apart from obviously this gorgeous beauty, what else do you use? I'm so curious.
So I just recently got the Supergoop Glow Screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I love it because you know, SPF, we shall be wearing it every single day,
Yes.
even though like, you know, the sun doesn't come out much here, but
Yeah.
it provides like a sheer like glow to your skin. And that's all I'm wearing right now, by the way. It's just
I
like
love
the
it.
SPF. It's so nice. I really, really like it. So that's like my go-to.
Mhm.
Obviously my new beauty serum, that's like a non-negotiable. I wear it every single day.
Another shout out.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm also I'm dropping a second product in the next couple of weeks. So I've been using that religiously. I can't announce what it is, but it's
That's
really,
okay.
really great. I can just say that it has chemical exfoliants, which are huge in any type of skincare product, whether that's a toner or a cleanser. So that's something I've been using a lot too. In terms of makeup, I haven't really been wearing a lot of makeup because I've been home a lot. I just wear like mascara. That's literally it. And the gloss.
Yeah.
Wow. That's goals right there. Like to have the best skin ever that you don't even need to wear nothing, girl. That's
It's
amazing.
been a long journey, let me tell you. It's been a long journey.
I know.
That's amazing.
So in terms of, like staying on topic with the beauty aspect, do you see like an esthetician as well? Like I know getting professional beauty treatments is important in kind of maintaining everything that's going on and targeting problem areas, along with, your skincare products that you use on a daily basis. So is there any like professional treatments that you've had that you really enjoyed and that really worked in terms to help with your acne?
Yeah, such a good question. I would say microneedling is like my go-to.
Mhm.
When I went through that acne journey, obviously it came with a lot of acne scars, which is the reason why I created the vitamin C serum.
Mhm.
But I did do a lot of microneedling treatments to get like the really deep scars and
Yeah.
hyperpigmentation out of my skin. So I would recommend anybody who's going through that journey, if they could do microneedling. It's not cheap, but it's really effective and it's really worth it. So that's the one thing that I always turn to. In terms of like esthetician, I do not have one actually. And I don't do facials, or sometimes I'll do like a, quarter extraction where like I actually professionally get them
Yeah.
done, but it's not something that I do regularly.
Oh, awesome. Well, then
Yeah.
your
That's
skincare
surprising.
routine is on
Yeah.
fire because
Thank
your
you.
skin is
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a long journey,
No, for
honestly.
sure.
Like I try a lot of products. And I'm very particular with what I put on my skin. I do a lot of face masks. The one that I'm
Yeah.
loving right now, I think it's pronounced Elio. It's like ELUO, and it's like a powder, and you just mix it in with water. And
Water,
it's
yes.
really nice. It's really, really, really nice.
Thank you so much for the
Yes.
recommendations. Honestly,
Mhm.
everyone and anyone that's going to
I
listen to this
know.
episode is going to be like, I need to get all of that, girl. They're going to look at your skin and they're going to
Yeah,
be
they're
like,
like
I
making
need
a list as they go.
I love it.
They're like, let
Yeah,
me get my piece of paper.
that.
yeah, I love it.
Yes. So, so with everything going on, with the pandemic, I know you did say that, your business had an uptick, because everybody is more conscious of what they're putting in their body and on their skin. So with COVID and everything going on, how, were you able to stay motivated this whole time?
Oof, great question. Great question. I am really a self-motivator. So it's honestly, I'm kind of one in a million in that sense, because like I don't really look for other people for motivation. I really just feel my own fire. And I think that comes with like an entrepreneurial spirit. Like it's something that every entrepreneur needs to have, because like you're at the top. There's like no one above you to motivate you, to check in, to like be like, hey, are you doing your work? Like I'm the only person moving the needle to push my business forward. You know, like, yes, I have a team. I have 2 amazing interns, and my sister helps me beyond belief. But like, if I'm not in the business, no one's pushing it forward, right? So just that alone really like motivates me. And then looking at like what my competition's doing and how they're doing extremely well, that's what also motivates me, because I'm like, okay, like if they're doing that, I need to do better. If they're doing this, I need to do that. So like that too is what really like lights the fire within me to like keep going and keep creating products and keep pushing products.
Right. So for the future of your brand, because I love vitamin C, so I'm going to be buying your product because I'm a product junkie anyways. I love everything. I want to try everything. So like let's say, you're manifesting, your future products. Like what can we expect to potentially see in the future, in terms of, products that are beauty products, or in terms of makeup products, if that's something that you're going to be doing?
Oh my God, let's spill the tea, girlfriend. I need to hear this.
Let us know.
Yeah. Honestly, they're like a really pro at skincare, or if they're a newbie at skincare and I want them to look at the products and be like, okay, I know exactly how to use this and I know every single ingredient in it.
Yes.
So in a perfect world, and what I am trying to manifest is having a very, very simple skincare routine that anybody could use. Meaning that you don't need 35 oils to put on your skin. You don't need 3 types of moisturizers. You really just need one of everything that's super effective, affordable, and has ingredients in it that a newbie knows how to use, but also a really pro person knows how to use. So that's my goal. And right now I kind of already mapped out what I'm going to do. Obviously I'm so big on like the vision boards and like manifesting. So I've mapped out, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I don't know like what ingredients are going to be in it or what it's going to look like, but I know what I'm going to do and I know when I'm going to launch them. So it's just almost like working backwards from there. So that's kind of how I started the second product. It came to me in November. It's taking me up until this point to kind of get it ready. And we're hoping to launch early April. So that will be like, your first step in your skincare routine, hint. And then we'll have like different products afterwards that you can start applying.
I love that hint. And I think I know what it is, but I don't want to say it.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
I kind of got an idea, so I'm excited to see what it's going to be. And yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm really, happy for you, to see a young woman really working towards her goals and her dreams. Like that's so inspirational and so amazing to see, especially, given that a lot of people are kind of down on themselves and feeling, not really too happy, but, it motivates me, or it makes me feel good to know that there are other people out there working very hard to, change their lives and, be bigger and better every year going forward.
Yeah. And honestly, to anybody listening to this, like anybody can do what I'm doing. Honestly, truly. Like you just got to be passionate on what you're doing. You just got to figure out what direction you want to go in and just let it happen to you, because if you allow it to happen, it's going to come to you. Like I'm not fighting tooth and nail to put together this product. I'm not fighting tooth and nail to get sales. Like I'm attracting it, right? Because it's meant for me. So if you're listening to this and you just like don't know which way to go, just try to be as clear as possible on what direction you want to go in and just let it happen for you, because it will. And truly anybody can start their own business and, learn as they go. I've made so many mistakes, let me tell you, so many costly mistakes, but you got to pivot, fail fast, fail cheap, pivot, keep going.
Right.
That's just it.
That's another good quote, girl. You just have all the gems.
I want to mention another quote that literally came into my head when you were saying that, is passion plus consistency equals success. I wrote that down I literally last year in 2020, I literally wrote a whole like goal board. Like it was like the size of my wall. I wrote every single thing that I wanted for the year, every single thing that I desired, and literally boxed it and like highlighted that specific quote. And I literally think about it almost every single day, because I'm like, you can feel down, you can feel sad, you can feel all of these things, but at the same time, remember that if you're passionate about what you want, and if you just stay consistent, the success will come, the sales will come, the recognition will come, all of these things will come, and they will come easy. It won't be a struggle,
Exactly. That you said it perfectly.
I just wanted to like bring it back, like just
perfect. It's honestly so perfect.
Yes. I did want to actually ask you with regards to entrepreneurship. I know that it's hard to start from the bottom, right? And like start from scratch. What was one, I guess, hiccup in the road that you went through that you can tell any aspiring entrepreneur coming up, hey, I experienced this mistake. If you just do not do what I did, you won't have to. Do you know what I mean? Like you won't have to suffer through it. What was that one thing?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Firstly, I've had a couple of those, but I would say the biggest thing for me where I actually thought that like my business was done was when my business partner and I split, because my biggest piece of advice for anybody getting into any type of partnership, I really don't care if it's your best friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever it is.
Yes.
Make a contract and sign it, because when things are good, things are good. When things are bad, things are really, really bad. So, when things are high vibing, sign a contract that's fair to both parties. Because, life happens and like things change and people are put into different situations that, it causes our paths to, go away from each other. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But I learned very quickly the power of contracts. And that was the point in my business where I was like, I'm either going to get, my brand staying afloat, or I'm really going to lose every single thing. And that was like a really dark point in my life. And now I don't do any deals without a contract. Nothing. I don't care if it's like a subscription box, I'm going into a retailer, an influencer, like contracts are everything to me now. So that is the one piece of advice I'd have for anybody who's starting a business.
That is so wise. Literally, like I feel like if it's not written down, it's like a thought. You know what I mean? Like if it's not written down, if I don't see a paper trail, it's not real.
It's not real.
It's honestly though, because people change and feelings change, and that's honestly life. It's so fine for that to happen. But just like have something in your pocket that like when it does happen, you're in a good spot, like you're saving yourself. So
I think I really love that answer, Em. And I feel like another thing that we could even say is another piece of advice, like just like it came to me, is that just be proactive. I feel like being proactive and like looking ahead, like God forbid, we don't think that bad things will happen. You know what I mean? Like we go in with all of the right intentions. We're like so excited about everything, but then we don't realize that in like 2 seconds, everything can come crumbling down. And it's like, okay, I need to be prepared for when that happens, if that happens. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that is actually something that I'm working on, like personally, is that I'm trying really, really hard to be proactive and be like, and think ahead of of my actions in terms of that, because I feel like, so one thing about me and Shenelle, we're both Leos, right? So we're very, very, very like, I like to do things now, and then I'm like, okay, don't worry, like things will just work out, right? That's just my personality. But I feel like that's a lot of times like bit me in the ass, like to be honest with you. So like now in hindsight, being, you know, much older, like 27 years old, like compared to when I was younger, I feel like now I can see it's not a bad thing to really look at all of the options, all of the different outcomes, everything that could happen just in case. And if it doesn't happen, then great, then we're on a great track. But if it does, then don't worry, girl, because I have my own back, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing people kind of struggle with. They don't have themselves, you know, like they're not supportive towards themselves. Like I feel like, you know, a lot of times we're always trying to rely on someone else or look to someone else for support, when really, you know, a lot of people thrive and do things on their own without the support of other people. So it's always like, you know, I could really just be my support system. It would be nice to have other people, but like at the end of the day, like I have to worry about me and I can't let myself down, you know? So I always try to keep that in my mind when I'm going into doing things and thinking about what I want for my future. I just kind of think like, you know, I'm keeping this promise to myself, and I'm trying to keep, I'm trying to have my back and be there for me and do what I need for me, because no one else is going to look out for you.
Right.
Exactly. That like goes back to like my, like why I got into manifestations, right? Because I'm like, the only person that's you can help is like yourself, or the only person that can help you is yourself, right? Like, yes, it's great. We have loving family and loving friends, but like you can really only pull yourself out of a negative thought or a negative experience or push yourself forward, right? You're your biggest cheerleader.
I do just want to mention too, just because I feel like it's something that's been really helping me in my personal life right now, is just, you know, like I was saying in the beginning of this podcast, is sometimes you don't have the answers, right? And that's okay. It's okay not to have the answers, and sometimes you can't look into your own self for those answers. But I feel like something that really, really, really helps me, and as of I would say the last year has really helped me, is actually reading books. And yeah, I might sound like a nerd. Yeah, I might sound like, oh my God, you're so old fashioned, but I don't care. Like, books, knowledge, wisdom, they're there for a reason. And I feel like there's so much information and so much value and so much like comfort I feel when I read books, especially like self-development books, anything like this, even like just principles of life. Like, and I'm sure what I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna be like, girl, I got you. I have that same book. Is The Four Agreements. Girl, right?
Okay. That is, firstly, I was waiting for you to ask me to like suggest a book, and that
I was gonna ask actually. Like,
I tell everyone to
I really
read that book.
Yes, me too.
It is so good. I'm so happy you just said that.
Yes, like it's and obviously we don't want to spoil it for our audience, but these four agreements are literally going to change your life and will dictate how you should live your life from now on. And I promise you, if you just abide by these agreements, like you are just going to feel so liberated and so free. I mean, that's how I feel.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it is such an easy read. It truly is such an easy read. I think I read it in one day.
Yes.
It's a short book, and it's something you can do instantly. It's not something you need to like think about or like go purchase or do something afterwards. Like, it's instant. They're instant thoughts that you can change, and they truly transform your entire life. Like, that book, it was a game changer for me, honestly. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
High five, virtual high five, girlfriend.
I'm so happy you said that. I'm so happy.
What I want to know though, are there any other books that you can like give a shout out to, like that you say would like have influenced you or has impacted your life and like where you are today? Like you wouldn't be where you are today without these books.
That's the 4 Agreements. Honestly, that one book.
That one book?
Yeah, like I've read other books that are great. Like for someone who's more advanced into manifesting and the law of attraction, there's a book called Ask and It's Given. And that's a really good book. It has, the back of the book has a bunch of tools that you can use to manifest things into your life. But it's more of an advanced book. It's definitely like a thicker read, and it's more woo-woo, I would call it.
Okay.
But the 4 Agreements is just such a good book, no matter where you are in your journey, because it just puts so many things into perspective, and it makes it so much easier and provides so much clarity that truly is the book. When people ask me on podcast episodes, like, what would you recommend to read? That's my answer.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's so powerful. So powerful.
That's so amazing. I feel like I hit the nail on the head with that one.
You really did. You really did. And like, good for you for reading it, because like, if you found that already, like you're already ahead. Like it's so good.
Thanks to Sara. Shout out, Sara.
I knew that was a Sara influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I swear by it. And like you know, like how you can have Apple Books on your phone or like on your iPad or whatever. I consistently always have that book, like no matter what, like it's always open in my books, and just so easy for me to refer to. Anyone that I have recommended it to completely changed their life. So anyone that's listening right now, in terms of our audience, I really, really do suggest you read it. And it's not, one thing I do want to say though, it's not hard to read. It's like the language is really easy to understand. Like, and it's really good also if like you're not really into reading and you maybe want to just read like 5 to 10 minutes a day. It's really easy to like pick up where you left off.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey gorgeous, thanks so much for continuing to listen. We hope you've had a great time so far. Please don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so that you can get your perfect blend each and every week. Hit us up on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you get your dose of podcasts. Now let's get back to it.
Was there any podcasts that you listened to that help with either entrepreneurship
Yeah.
or manifestation?
Yeah. It's not a podcast, but Leor Alexandra on YouTube. She's like a whole manifestation, law of attraction YouTuber, and she just has such a good energy. Honestly, like I turn on her videos and I hear her voice and I'm like, oh, like her energy just makes her vibration just makes my vibration go up. It's so good. She's really, really great. I would recommend her to anybody who's trying to get into it. On the entrepreneurial side, I love Mariana Hewitt. She's just someone who is like one of my role models, and she has a podcast that she just started literally this year. And it's a really, really good one. She brings on other entrepreneurs, people who've started businesses. I think her last episode was with Briogeo. Like she just gets really, really good female founders on the podcast, and she like picks their brains. So it's a really nice podcast. And then there's also The Skinny Confidential, his and her. I don't know if you guys listen to it, but yeah, like her husband. So it's like Lauren and I forgot his name, but he is a serial entrepreneur, and he is the CEO of her actual podcast network. So like the two of them together are just like so great. Like they have great banter, and they provide so many nuggets of information that like I like step away with it with like so much feedback and so many pieces of information that I can apply to my business.
Amazing. That's really good to know. Honestly, I'm gonna go listen like after this.
Yeah. Like, I'm writing everything down.
Yeah, she's a beauty influencer too. So she talks about like skincare products she's using, what she's drinking, what she's eating, what she's wearing, what she puts on her face.
Amazing.
And they just had a baby, so now she's talking about that whole aspect of her life, like what she's feeding her baby, what she's feeding herself, you know, to keep herself healthy. So it's, yeah, she's just like a wealth of information.
Yes,
Amazing.
I love it.
I love that. I do want, because I know that we're on a strict schedule, and I know that you are a very busy businesswoman, so we don't want to take too much of your time, but we do like a little game with our guests, and I think Shenelle is going to take it from here.
Yes. So it's the game, I can't remember the name of the game, but it's it's called The Best Self. It's a box of cards. It has I believe 5 categories about like life, relationships, the past, your future, and some random questions. So I picked 3 questions. This
Okay.
one's about you, this one's the past, and this one is about, it's random. That's why it's yellow. You can't really see it, but we'll start here. So the first question is, what goals do you have for yourself and your business?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have so many. I think my primary goal, I'll do short-term, long-term. Does that work?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
works.
for sure.
Okay. So short-term goal, I am literally laser focused to get the second product launched successfully. So I'm in the midst of finalizing the campaign. We are finalizing models. We're finalizing, you know, packaging. Everything's just at that point where it's like not final yet, but finalizing. So
Yeah.
that's like my main goal, is to get that out and to make it such a successful launch. My long-term goal is to, I already touched upon this, but like create a product line that is like simple skincare. So skincare that really works for everyone and it's easy to use. So that's like what my long-term goal is and what I'm working towards like every single day. When I come up with formulas, I hire on new people onto my team, you know, pushing any type of post out on Instagram. It's all towards that long-term goal.
Nice.
Love it.
So, Sarah, would you like to answer this question? Will you see, what are your goals? What goals do you have for yourself and your business?
Sure. I would say short-term goal is, I guess, because for me, my business is more in person. So I have like my clients, obviously, but it's more like it really is dependent on this whole pandemic, unfortunately for me. But I am trying to, I guess, focus on how I can create opportunities for myself. So this is like one thing that always resonates with me, and I feel like it is important for any entrepreneur, whether you have an e-commerce business or whether it's an actually like in person with clients business. I just think it's really important to, oh my God, I completely forgot.
Like slipped.
I was
literally
like
slipped
waiting
my
for
mind.
it. I'm like, she's onto something.
I'm onto
Yeah.
something. Okay, guys, let me hold on. Let me get into it again. Hold on one second. I feel like I would really want to create something that can bring value to my clients, but without me having to be there. That's my short-term goal. So like say
Yes.
for instance, like I've done like virtual master classes, which is online, which is great, but I have to be there. I have to be present for it. So
Right.
on the low, maybe this is like a little hint too for me. I really want to make a course, like a very
Ooh.
simplified makeup course, like one for basic, you know, people that don't really use makeup, that just want like an everyday let's go. And then another one that's a little bit more, I guess, advanced. And then for my long-term goals, I feel like I just really like my goal is to have residual income. Like I really just want to make sure that I have several different avenues of income, so that way I never have to worry about money again. That's sort of my goal. So I like already I have like a couple of streams of income, but for me, I really want to solidify them. So for instance, like my lash business, my makeup business, me being a Mac makeup artist now. So that's another aspect of things. So
Yes.
Amazing.
yeah, there's just a lot. And I feel like like this podcast, for instance, like there's just like so many different
So much.
avenues.
Yeah.
And it really excites me. I'm like the type of person that like my head is in like a million different places all at once. And I that sort of invigorates me. I really, really enjoy it. So I think that's my long-term goal.
Yes.
Love it. I love that.
So for me, I'm really kind of getting into the influencer space. So I'm really trying to figure out, like, you know, what do I want my Instagram to look like? You know, what content am I gonna be putting out? So I'm really my short-term goal for that is kind of manifesting that and figuring out, you know, what I want that to look like. And my long-term goal for right now, because obviously this is going to change once I accomplish that, but I want to come out with merch. You know, I have some ideas of things that I really want to do because it's things that I like, and I think a lot of people will like it too. So yeah, my next thing after you know, figuring out my influencers thing will be some merch, but
Love
not
that.
the typical like things that you see a lot of other influencers doing. I think I have a unique idea for things. So I'm excited and I'm really looking forward to putting that out.
That's dope. I
I
think you
love
should
that.
totally holla at Emily when you need to, because look
Yes.
at her merch.
Yeah,
This
we
is
have
Wherever, girl, let's connect, because wherever you get your stuff, we need to like link up, get that together.
I have some contacts for you, especially with
Yes.
like the influencer stuff. I would say like my biggest piece of advice for you is like find your niche, because there's
Yes.
so many of us and we all say that we're lifestyle influencers, but lifestyle isn't a niche. So like, are you beauty? Are you self-care? Are you fashion? Like, what are you?
Right.
And you know what? Stick to it. Stick to being micro. And like I said in the beginning, like build your audience. It's going to be a slow burn. It's going to be a slow start, but it's going to pay off. Just keep going.
Yes, thank you. I love that advice. Like, that's one of the best things I've ever heard, because no one really talks about like how building your base is gonna be, you know. No one really tells you how that's gonna be. And you're the first person that I've spoken to that's actually been like, you know, it's gonna take a while, but you know, stick to it. You know, everyone's like, you know, just focus on what you want to do and whatever, but you have been really straightforward, because no one ever says like, you know, the followers are going to trickle in little by little.
Yeah, they will.
And I've been seeing that kind of growth. It's been little by little, but I've been noticing that it's people who do really interact with whatever I'm posting.
Mhm.
So I really do like that. So it's like I am finding actual people who are engaging. So that's a good thing about it. But I was always worried about, or kind of stuck on the, you know, the progression. Like, I need to get more followers. I need to engage a little bit more. And that was kind of, you know, kind of taking me aback, like building up some walls, like, oh my gosh, like, why is it taking so long? Like, why isn't it moving fast enough? So hearing that is really motivating, and it really helps me. So
yeah, it's a slippery slope, honestly, because social media, you compare yourself to like people who are in the same space as you, and it's hard when you see someone else growing and you're not. But I'm telling you, that's when you got to do the cancel, like get out of my reality. Like, I can grow my audience myself, and just stick to it. Just keep being consistent, show up every single day, be yourself, be authentic, and they're gonna flow in. Everything's gonna flow in for you.
So I got another question. So over the past 10 years, what would you say was your biggest blessing in disguise?
Wow, that's a great question.
Whoa, that's a deep question.
It's very deep, I know.
Yeah. Okay, I already touched upon this, but my breakup, like at the time, I thought my life was really ending. I honestly did. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to survive this. Yeah. And I look back and I would not change that in a second. Like, I would never change what happened, because that heartache brought so much growth
Yes.
and such a healthy relationship. Like all like aspects of my life just leveled up. My mindset leveled up. My business leveled up. My relationship leveled up. My spirituality leveled up. Like so many things came out of that one awful point in my life that I am like forever grateful. And when someone asks like, what is a pivotal moment in your life, in your career, I always think back to that one space, because I was in such a negative space then, and it brought so much positivity and light into my life that like would not change it.
Wow.
I feel
That's
that.
a great answer.
I know. But like, even when you were explaining it, you know, it's like, it was that big boom, so to say, for you, you know? And I think a lot of people, like, you don't need a big boom, but it's like, you know, something that had such an impact on you, you know, that like motivated you or kind of pushed you into a new place where you're like, oh my gosh, like, had that not happened, I wouldn't even have been able to do what I'm doing now. So
Right.
yeah, thank you
I
for
would
being
I would honestly, I agree completely. I feel like when certain things happen in your life, like say for instance what you were saying before, I feel like it's important to like jump back into this in terms of when you're uncomfortable and when you're unhappy, that's the point where you're like, I've hit where I personally think is like rock bottom for what I'm comfortable with. And from there,
right.
like it's only up from here. It's only
Exactly.
I can only change what I can change once I'm here, and now let's go up. So I would say the same thing for me. It was last year once I was laid off from my job, and it sort of put things in perspective for me in terms of what I really want in my life, in every single aspect, whether that's in my career, whether that's in my relationship, whether that's in my family, my friends, like every single aspect. And the thing that I feel like it's so important to really remember is just being conscious and being aware of how you really feel. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people are so used to just going in through like their every single day lives, and they go to work 9 to 5 and then they come home and they're like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to think about anything. But then you sort of are unconscious, right? Like you're sort of unconsciously just living through your life, and every single day is passing by you, then weeks pass by you, then months, years.
Yeah.
And then you're like, man, it's too late. And that a lot of people
Yeah.
feel that way, right? Like a lot of people feel, damn, I'm this and this old. I can't
Right.
change my life now. And let me just talk about that really quickly. You're never too old to change your life.
Yeah.
Never.
Age
That's
is
fact.
nothing but a number. No matter how old you are, you can always change your life for the better and make sure that you're happy and that you're satisfied in your heart and your soul. So I feel like I just needed to say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
It's
could
so
not agree
true.
with more. Oh my gosh,
I
yeah.
agree as well. So um, for me, it was last year. I got fired from my last job. But just before I got fired, you know, I was not loving the work environment that I was in. You know, the pandemic just hit and a lot of things were unfolding as well. And like, I just wasn't happy with how I was being treated as an employee of that organization. And that's what really prompted me to start this podcast. You know, I was literally talking to Sarah every day while this was going on. And, you know, that's what really motivated, what really changed my trajectory. Because, you know, I thought I was gonna ever, I was gonna retire from that job. You know, like that's how I felt. And then, you know, when everything with the pandemic started, you know, I started realizing like I hate this job. And then, you know, I also was going through some stuff at work. So I was like, you know, if they fire me, they fire me. I'm not worried. I don't care because this is not what I want to do in my life. You know, I do work somewhere else in a similar field, but I think that was like the end of an era for me. And that's what kind of pushed me forward into, starting this podcast. So that's what it was for me.
That reminds me of this quote that someone said to me. I don't even remember who it was or if I read it, but it's that things don't happen to you, things are happening for you.
Right.
Yes.
So come here with all of these gems, girl.
That one spoke to me so much, honestly, because if you're going through a negative experience, I always say, like, this is not happening to me, it's happening for me. Like, this is meant to happen for me. I'm meant to go through this experience to get somewhere else. So like you getting let go, that was meant to happen to you, to push you to do this podcast, to push you to be in another company, right? It happened for you, not to you.
Exactly. And that's how I felt about it too, because like a little bit more into this, but I started interviewing at other jobs, and literally the day after, was it the day after? Yeah, the day after I got like formally fired, I got hired at the new job. So I was like, this was like, this was meant to be, so I'm like, I'm going to push forward. This will be, where I work now, that's my side hustle. Everything I'm doing everything I'm doing for myself, my personal brand and everything, that's my main hustle. That's how I've been looking at it recently. So yeah.
Good for you. I love that.
I want to like piggyback on what you both said, just because I feel like, I have to consistently remind myself, because I feel like I'm somewhat of a control freak. I'm like, I need to have control over every single thing of my life. But I feel like the most rewarding and the most happy, I guess, outcomes come from when you surrender and when you just let go.
Yeah.
And you just let go of any expectations that you have. And you're like, you know what? I'm just going to put this in the hands of either like the universe, God, higher power, higher self, whatever you think, whatever you resonates with you. If you just leave it and you're like, just let it go, girl. And like, I promise you, things will come, things will start to fall into place, and you'll be like, oh my God, like, how is this happening? It's because you're letting go, and you're letting go of that expectation. So I just had to put in my 2 cents.
And you know what, Sarah, you're saying these words, and I can tell that you are in such a powerful place that you probably don't even know it yet, because you're saying things like high vibrations, low vibrations, like letting go, surrender. You're saying these words that are so powerful.
I will say, like, thank you so much. But I feel like, it's not an easy journey. Like, I promise you, there's days where I'm literally like on my couch and I'm like, girlfriend, like, I'm not doing nothing today. And like, I have to bring myself out of that and remember, it's like constantly having to go back, and it's okay. There's going to be times where you're going to be like, fuck everything. Okay.
Right.
Honestly, you're going to be like, fuck everything. But then things will come back into your life and remind you, and you're going to be like, you know what? No, like, I know my path. I know where I need to go. I know that I need to have these aspirations. I know that I need to have this in my life. So you make the commitment. For instance, okay, let's talk about this. Her company, I won a giveaway, and they gifted me a 5-minute journal. And let me tell you, my girl, I've done it every single day.
Oh, good.
So when you posted that, I was like, I want this 5-minute journal. Like, I want this.
Yes. And it's the thing that I really just want to mention is that you might have like, and I wanted to ask you this, and maybe if you have time that you can answer it, but I feel like it's so, so, so important to have a morning routine and a night routine, in terms of just having those things that you always, always, always listen to or write down or refer to. However, I feel like they have to work for you. So what I mean by this is, I have my prayer, I have my affirmations, I have my gratitude list, I have all of these things, right? But I found that after a couple of months of me doing it, I was like, you know what? This isn't working for me anymore. I feel like, my life is at a point where I'm trying to change it so that I'm always on the go, or I'm always doing something. And I just don't feel like I have the time or the dedication to do this whole routine anymore. And then when the 5-minute journal came into my life, I'm like, oh my God, this is like simplified.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm like, I don't have to spend like 20 minutes doing this and being like, damn, I just wasted 20 minutes, girlfriend.
Right.
It's 5 minutes. I was like, wow, what a game changer. Like
Yes.
things don't have to be so complicated, you know? If things are not working for you, reconfigure it. Like it's not a
Right.
big deal. Like you just do what's best for you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think a lot of times we overcomplicate things for ourselves. We make it more
Yes.
difficult for ourselves because we have a picture of what we want. So
Mhm.
if things aren't going that way, we kind of are down on ourselves. So I think
Yes.
that's a big reason why we kind of like fall into that funk and don't want to do anything.
You know what though? Your body and your mind will tell you.
yeah.
Like there was
Yeah.
a point where I wasn't doing it every day anymore. And I was like, why is that? I know that I feel happier doing it, but why don't I feel like I want to do it anymore? Your
Yeah.
body and yourself is telling you this isn't working for you anymore. It's time
Mhm.
to reconsider how you're doing things. And
Yep.
Exactly.
I love it. Like
Yeah.
it's really interesting how the world works, I promise.
Yes.
Honestly, and I could talk about morning routines all day because I'm like so specific.
Mhm.
But it's funny because when you won the giveaway, that was all random. Like we don't actually choose the winner. It's all like an automated system that picks it for
Yeah.
us.
Isn't it crazy, Em? Because
I
literally the
know.
day before, I was like, "Oh my god, Emma's doing a giveaway! Like, I have to like sign up." And I was literally like, "Oh my god, I really think that I might be late to it." I was thinking that I was like, "I think I'm gonna be late to this giveaway. Hopefully, like it's still okay." And I shared it on my stories and everything. And then next thing you know, I win, and I was like, "What?
Yes.
Yeah,
Whoa! Like
divine
crazy,
timing.
It was
right?
like, yeah, it was
Divine timing.
perfect. It was like in alignment for you.
In alignment."
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
exactly what it was. Okay, so last question, guys.
Yes.
This one is kind of more personalized, but also kind of fun. So what's something frivolous that you don't mind spending money on?
Ooh. Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah. So for me,
Ooh.
something frivolous that I don't mind spending money on is skincare products. Like I will spend all at skincare products and makeup. I will spend all my money if I could on skincare and makeup. You should see like my beauty desk. I have like a section for skincare. It's a lot of stuff. But it's things that I like to use. I like to try everything. So I honestly don't mind. And I will spend all my money on it.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I think for me, this is gonna sound so nerdy, but it's like anything to like better my education or anything to better my mentality. So like
Yes.
if I spent a lot of money on like a course that was about how to properly meditate. Like it's so silly, but like because I want to be able to like
Yeah.
get the full value out of meditation.
Right.
Or if it's like a book that I know I'll level up from, like I
Yes.
will splurge on it. Or if it's like a course or anything that like allows you to have like some sort of level up from it, whether that's like mentally, in my career, my personal life, like that's something that like I always, just put towards.
Yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I will say one flaw of mine is that I will invest in stuff and then I'll be like, I don't know if it's for me. But I feel like even if I do that, I still find value in it. So
Right.
I want to piggyback on what Em said, but also tell something different of what I think helps me. But the one thing that I've done in the past was transcendental meditation. So transcendental meditation is like research this a little bit, you guys, and like anyone that's listening, because the most successful people in the world do this every single day. They take 20 minutes out of their morning and 20 minutes out of their nighttime and they transcendental meditate. So it's really interesting. If you are interested, look into it. But the course costs like over 1,000. And literally, I don't do it anymore, but I found a lot of value through it because it still gave me the
Right.
idea of meditation, and it still gave me the idea of being mindful, just being really in tune with myself. So
Right.
I don't say that I regret it, but I wish I use it a little bit more. I feel like it might not be for me in terms of the amount of time that you do it for, but I still do meditate, just a lot less time.
Right.
But one thing
Yeah.
I will say with regards to what makes me feel happy, or what makes me, I guess, puts me in that same good mood, like how Em was saying, how like it reinforces me being good, or like me feeling happy, is taking care of myself aesthetically. I know that that might sound a little bit like, I guess, conceited, but I don't see it that way. Like,
Self-care.
No, it's not. I mean, you have to do what makes
Self-care.
you feel good, right? So at
yes,
the end of the day, like, if regardless of what other people think, as long as you feel good, that's all that matters.
yeah. Like for me,
Exactly.
I used to like be bleach blonde back in the day, and I was like, girl, I'm feeling myself. I feel my best self. Like, and if that's what makes you feel good, then go for it. You know what I mean? That's all good. Or say like doing your nails. Like I do my nails all the time because that makes me feel good. But
Right.
that's just how I feel.
I love it.
Yes.
Yes.
But I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you so much for coming and
Yes.
joining with us. Like, we are so grateful, and it was such a great discussion. I feel like it was
Yes.
really important to talk about this on our podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, I
and
had
feel like-
so much fun.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, I always like when we have guests, because I always feel like I learn something from everybody,
Same
So
here.
thank you
Same.
for sharing, your little gems. I'm definitely going to be doing that cancel
Yes.
going
Cancel.
forward, because I need that in my life.
Me too.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's a
I'm
great
so
one.
glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for having me,
So
guys. It was so fun.
Absolutely.
yes, so
Absolutely.
Emily, tell our listeners where they can find you, and
Where they
when
can buy New Beauty.
exactly.
Yeah. So my personal Instagram is at _EMOLIVEIRA. So it's my first name, last name. And then my brand is at It's New Beauty, and new is NU. And then our website is newbeautycosmetics.com, which is like, it's also in our bio. So if you check us out on Instagram, you can find our website there.
Awesome.
Amazing. Thank you so
Yes.
much. We really appreciate you. And honestly, there's one thing that I just want to let you know, is that because you are such a spiritual person, and because for me, you just give me high vibrations already. I feel like I just want to tell you that I hope all of your dreams and all of your goals and everything that you put your mind to and manifest comes true.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. And honestly, I wish the same for you both. Like, you guys are on such a good journey. I can feel it. And I'm excited to see where both of you guys end up, because it's going to be really, really good.
Thank you. We really
We appreciate that.
Of course.
Alrighty.
All
Thank you so
right.
much, you guys. And we're just going to say our slogan, which is
Our little
be
outro,
cute,
which is
be cute, be you, and
stay blended.
Ooh, that is so cute, guys.
Yes.
That's awesome.
wish you the best, Em. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah, of course.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.